thanks for joining me. You probably see a new face. I had to fire my chief revenue officer. He was just doing a lousy job, so I'm in a firing mood. But let's see what you can tell me that will make me happy and stay away from firing. I got another staff person of mine, Jeff, who's my CIO. I figured yesterday I was kind of overwhelmed with all the techno babble, so Jeff's going to give me a little bit of a hand to understand a little bit the interface between you, the machines, and the budget, and try to figure out where we're coming up short and where you're coming up short. So with that as a background, I'll remind you that whatever it is that you've prepared for me, I need it desperately. Board of Directors is meeting, and I need to convince them that we know what we're doing in this insidious attack. So I'm going to let you walk me through. Just know that I get glazy eyes very quickly. So I don't want to read paragraphs. I don't want to read PowerPoints. I just want to know what you have to tell me that will make me happy. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So I'll start off on a good note. Yesterday, we let you know that the email server had gone down. We are happy to announce that that has been brought back up. So currently we are sending and receiving emails once again. We found that we were being attacked yesterday by a advanced persistent threat. We are happy to announce that functionality has been restored to all of our systems except for the Active Directory server. We are currently working on mitigating that threat on that server. We found that we lacked redundancy in many of these systems, which meant that we couldn't weather these intrusions as easily or as effectively. Therefore, in the future, we recommend increasing the redundancy of business critical assets and also hiring a incident response team that can help us better understand what's exactly happening in the network when attacks take place, and also to give the server managers a dedicated role of managing the servers and have an incident response team to manage the incident response.
Anna, does the incident response team need to be on my payroll all the time, or can we hire them in as consultants when something happens?
We could absolutely hire them in as consultants. There are a myriad of wonderful consulting firms we could choose from. I would recommend going out to corporations such as FireEye and CrowdStrike and getting quotes from each of them, and then we can discuss further as to which option best suits our needs.
Yeah, but under attack, I'm not going to get my procurement folks all bent out of shape. Do you suggest that we hire them and kind of put them in abeyance, have them in a shed somehow, and release the hound dogs when the time comes? Is that what
Absolutely.
you're saying? Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd recommend choosing somebody and just having them on call.
Jeff, what do you think? Is that a good strategy?
I think for surge activities, it makes sense. You want to have some trusted partners, some alliances that you can call up and bring in to help with those kind of surge activities. I think we just need to monitor and see the frequency with which we may see these, revisit our disaster recovery plans, and build that in as contingency. Sounds good.
Good. Okay. Go ahead, Anna. Is that it?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you finished?
That was kind of the executive summary, yes. So just going through all of the systems, as of this morning, the email server was not functional. However, we have reinstated that service. So that yellow should actually be a green. All of our websites are currently functioning. We are processing orders of the e-commerce website. Our OpenEMR website is currently functioning at full force. So all green across the board. The only thing that we are currently having issues with is Active Directory, which we are working on both fixing the server itself and also figuring out a way to create a backup in order to ensure that redundancy, that we have other options.
What do you mean backup?
So basically, as of right now, we only have one Active Directory server on our network. We are hoping that you, as the CEO, will allow us to create another server as a backup for this server. In typical large infrastructures such as ourselves, there are usually two Active Directory domains, one of which is the primary domain, one of which is the secondary domain. This allows for redundancy, and if you if one of them is to go down, you still have the other one. So end users, even if there is an incident, won't see a breach in service.
All right, continue.
Excuse me? Okay.
Sorry, Ann. You start your report by talking about we're facing an advanced persistent adversary. That implies a nation state actor. Do you have evidence to back up attribution why you think it's a nation state actor?
Yes, we do. Some of our different teams have been receiving emails from a unknown user asking them to click on a link that links to a website that ends in .apt1.com.
Okay.
APT1 is a known advanced persistent threat out of China. They're out of Shanghai, and we believe that they're the ones that are attacking us.
Okay. On the email server, you said that you had that back up and running. You were able to restore access, restore the firewall. Do you know what caused it to go down in the first place? And do you have any assurance that you can prevent that from happening again?
Yes, we do. So what caused it to go down in the first place? The advanced persistent threat, as previously stated, had installed malware on that computer that had deleted the firewall in its entirety. We have figured out where that malware is running, and we have quarantined it and then further analyzed it and reported it. So we have eliminated that threat, at least in that attack vector.
Okay, great. And then on the Active Directory, your report basically says that adversaries are engaged in a campaign to hinder any incident response. Can you give me some insight into what is happening, what they're doing, and how are you addressing it?
Absolutely. So it's actually similar to some of the attacks that we were seeing on the email server. So what's basically happening is the adversaries have removed our ability to do incident response on that machine, meaning that we can no longer access tools that we would be using, such as Procmon and that type of thing. So we have figured out where they are running the malware from. We've been able to quarantine and stop it. However, now it's a matter of being able to assuredly bring up that server once again without allowing them to just come right back in and take it down. We're looking for
Do you have insight into the attack vector they're using to get in?
We believe that they were able to get into our systems using default credentials, which have, of course, been changed. However, it appears that some of these attacks happened before we were given access to the system.
Okay.
So we've at least mitigated the original way they were getting in, but now there are different backdoors that they have installed that they're using.
And while Active Directory is down, do we have a way to be able to authenticate users, or for people to be, valid users have a way to get onto the systems?
So we have been creating local users when needed in different areas, and that allows the same users to log in with the same credentials, just not verified against Active Directory.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you.
Of course.
And I see that you're separating your recommendations between immediate solutions and long-term.
Mm-hmm.
How would you go about the long-term suggestions? What process would you use? In my full company, would you use your CIO? Would you use your CFO, your budget director, your CEO? How would you establish a long-term solution reality?
We would prefer to have a meeting with both the CIO, CTO, and any budgetary directors in order to just sit down and be able to talk with everyone about kind of the state of every system currently and how we think we can improve that. Of course, in this report, we're asking for a lot. However, we believe that these are necessary measures that we have to take if we want these advanced persistent threats to no longer have access to our systems. Therefore, we're hoping that in meeting we can hopefully convince people that we can that these are necessary and as necessary as we believe them to be. However, we understand that there are certain business limitations that may not allow us to get all of these updated systems. Therefore, we have also created a kind of list of which ones are absolutely essential and which ones we would prefer to have, but we can continue functioning without.
All right. Talk me through the additional recommendation section.
Absolutely. So these are kind of sort of general overviews of what we believe in the long term should happen. So we've noticed that we have this advanced persistent threat accessing our network frequently. We believe that although we are qualified to handle this, it is more beneficial to hire an outside group in order to look into the exact threats that we're receiving, such as CrowdStrike or FireEye, who are known groups that will do, incident response handling. Additionally, as stated previously, we don't have any redundancy on our network. So should, for example, the mail server or the Active Directory server go down, our end users will see that immediately. If we had redundant systems, we would be able to keep a higher availability to our users while still maintaining integrity of our systems.
Anna, sorry, Anna, your recommendation to use an outside group, is it because we have a capacity problem during incidences, or is it a competency issue?
It's absolutely a capacity issue, not a competency issue. All of our employees are wonderful and can handle the incidents. However, in attempting to handle the incidents and keep availability of all of our services, it's very difficult with the current manpower that we have.
Before logging off, Anna, I've been getting some good reports about your incident response reports, that they're good quality. What do you attribute that to?
I attribute it to the amazing team of workers that we have currently. We have dedicated a lot of time and efforts to improving incident response, and I believe that that's how our reports have been able to be strong.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Go do a good job.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Anna. Nice job.